Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Crypto Bytes, where we discuss all things crypto, DeFi, airdrops, and more. My name is Brian, and today I am going to give you guys kind of an overview of how I've been approaching my trading on Perp dexes as of late, especially in the current market where looks like we're going to be going up only, hopefully, for the foreseeable, short-term near future. You know, previous videos that I've made for you guys when it came to trading, I showed you multiple strategies that I've used, and that was mostly used during ranging markets. So we were, for the last few months, after we kind of survived the, massive dumps that we had at the earlier part of the year and in up to the start of April, then we went up and then we were kind of ranging for a month or two up until where we're at now in mid to late July, where things have been going up pretty nicely over the last 2 weeks. And so what I'm doing now is, one, I'm still farming many Perp Dex airdrops, so I'm looking to get as much volume as possible in my trades. But more importantly, which is what I'm going to show you today, is I'm getting that volume, but I'm also focusing more on actually making income from the trading. So while I'm farming these airdrops, I'll make a few $100 from each of these different perp dexes. And while I'm doing that, I'm hopefully making another couple hundred thousands of dollars by positioning myself into different coins that have upward momentum and or are ones that, you believe that are going to be going up and you want to get a position in anyways. And so this should be a pretty quick video, but yeah, let's dive in and I'll show you what I've been up to. Okay, so yeah, for those of you that have been following me on X, Twitter, about 24 days ago now, I started a 1 million volume challenge on Paradex here because they're towards the end of their airdrop season, which ends at the end of July. It's July 22nd right now. So in the last, since basically June 27th, so about 24 days, like I mentioned, I've been able to get almost $1 million in volume thus far. And let me show you what I've been doing, like in order to get there. At the beginning, it's a little tough because the market, wasn't doing as well. I was kind of up and down in my earnings, but now we're positive. And from this $1 million in trading volume, I expect to get at least $500 from the airdrop. So this should turn out decently with the way that I've been doing it. So let me show you what I've done. So first things first, what coins are we going to pick? What coins are we going to trade? So ever since the market started going, up pretty much since the 10th or 11th of July, what you want to look for is basically coins that look like this. They have had a very nice trajectory. In the last week it's been slightly flat. That's okay, but overall, it's a nice upward line. So XRP is one coin that, has been performing well. Then let's look at some others that may or may not be. So Hype, as an example, even though, it's a great ecosystem, a great coin, if you look at the chart here, if it wants to load for me, you can tell, it did have that nice upward momentum, but since then, now it's on a downtrend. Now, there's nothing to say that it's not going to, reclaim it and go up again. But as far as my strategy right now, I'm only looking for the strongest tokens. And so this one breaking into a downtrend, I wouldn't touch it as far as this trading goes. I absolutely am still farming the Hyper EVM chain and airdrops there, but from trading perspective, I don't mess with it. Let's check a few others. Doge upward, a little bit down here, but still overall up. So this one's okay that we would use, and I have been using. I generally don't. I want to get the ones that have the ability for me to have the highest leverage. The reason for that is because it allows me, since I'm focused on volume, I want to get the ones where I can have as many trades open as possible with a certain amount of capital, because I'm not allowing, as you'll see in a moment, I'm not allowing myself to lose much on the downside. I just want to have as many trades open as possible to hit the volume while also building a position. So I don't really want to touch things like Moodang, SPX, etc. If I would, because it has 20x, assuming that the chart looks good, which I believe it does. Let's see. Yep, so this would be another one that would be fine as far as this criteria that I've been looking for goes. So I hope you get the picture. If you are looking for, which tokens to trade, I think a good way to do that is to basically just be looking on the 4-hour timeline, and any charts that are more or less, straight up since the 10th or so of July, these ones are good candidates. Now, obviously you have to pay attention, and if they start dropping down, then you might want to cut them, but for now they would be good candidates for what we're doing. So, okay, now that let's say that we want to go with whiff here. Well, actually, let me go with one that I already have a chart open here. So Pendle. Come on. All right, so as you can see up and to the right, as we like, on the 4-hour. Now, as far as my trading goes, I then will drop down to the 15-minute chart, and then we're gonna go over to Trading View, which is what I've shown you before, and I am pretty much primarily for my current strategies, I'm using the IMG basic, what's it called? Not filter, but indicator. I'm using the IMG basic indicator here. Just type that in here and you get it for free. And so what that does is it's basically showing, you can use whatever timeline you like, but since I'm trying to get a lot of trades, I have it on the 15-minute. And then I'm looking for where are the demand zones. So that's what the IMG basic indicator does, is it shows you the positive demand zones and the negative demand zones. So when price goes up into a red zone here, it basically means that it's more likely to go down than to go up and break through that resistance. Whereas if it goes into the green, it's more likely to bounce like you saw here. Obviously then it came down into this green and it didn't bounce, so that happens too. But these are basically just areas of interest. That's what this gives me. And so for me, since I'm picking tokens that have shown strength compared to other ones on the market over the last 2 weeks, I want to get a position in them because I think that there's going to be more upside, because I think overall the market's going to be going up over the next few months at the very least. So obviously none of this is financial advice, but that's what I'm focused on here. So what I'm doing is I go and I'm finding on the 15-minute chart these areas of interest. So here at the bottom of the demand zone, we're at basically $4.69. The next demand zone, we're at $4.67. I do another one here. So pretty much I'm just getting these $4.58, $4.51. And so, I'm picking these price points, and then I'm coming over here into Paradex or whatever perp dex that you want. Again, I'll link at the bottom of this description the videos that I put out a month or so ago, where I have like over 20 different perp dexes that I'm farming. But pretty much you'll come in here and you'll put orders for, at those price points that you see that there's the demand zone on the chart for. And so, this all comes down to what your budget is, what your portfolio amount that you're putting in for this. But I think a couple of $100 if you have it per trade will work. Let's say if you have like about a $5,000 to $10,000 portfolio, that's going to be about a 1%, 1 to 2% risk that you're putting per trade. And we're going to be opening and closing these relatively quick, so you're not even really risking that full amount per trade. So let's say that I put in that, and then the trades at those demand zones, and then I do that for all the different tokens that I'm interested in based on how much funds I have available at the time. And I'm basically just looking at the past week. So I'm looking at the past week for all these different demand zones, and then I'm putting in the bids. And then, it'll start taking the bids. And once I have a positive return on, my trade, you kind of have two different ways that you can go about this. So One thing that I've been doing is I basically will just keep on adding new trades in as new demand zones pop up on the trading view chart. So I'll check it, once, twice a day, add new ones in, if new ones appear as the price, moves forward in time. And if my current trade that I have open here is in the positive, then what I'll do is I'll set the stop loss for that trade slightly above the highest price, like demand zone that I'm putting in a new order. So I'm basically taking profit and then letting the price come down another 1 to 2%, which will then hit my new demand zone, and then the process starts over again. So by doing that, I'm not really building a position. I'm just kind of taking advantage of an upward moving asset, and I'm taking profits and I'm opening up new trades. And so, this is not ideal if you're purely just trading, because I'm most likely not getting the meat of the move on some of these. But typically, once, let's say if price went up to $5 and then I have my next demand zone at 485 here, I'd probably put my stop loss for my prior trade at 490. It comes down, most likely, since you're only a 1 or 2% away, it's probably going to come down and hit into that demand zone, because that's what it is. It's a demand zone price. It attracts price to that level. So that's kind of the idea one of how I'm getting a decent amount of volume and basically making profitable trades because we're in an upward moving environment. The other way of doing it is, once you've caught a few trades here, so let's say that I had demand zones at 4.8, 4.7, 4.6 for simplicity. Let's say that. So we come down, and each trade is $100. So we come down, we hit all those, and now we're at 4.9, and I have a $300 trade with an average buy-in of 4.7. So not bad so far. So now if I want to get volume, but I also want to kind of build a longer term position in this one asset, well, let me come and show you what I'm doing with Bitcoin as an example. So basically what I'm doing there is once you're positive by, a few different multipliers, what I'm doing is I'm just putting bids at, I actually then move down to the 5-minute chart. And I'm putting bids down at all the different price levels that Paradex has listed in this kind of pane for this price level. So you can see it kind of changed a little bit since the last time I've updated this, but for the most part, all the trades are evenly spread apart, both on the buy side and then also on the sell side. And so what I'll do is, since I'm wanting to build a long position, whatever well, actually, let me go to Ethereum actually, because that's a better example of what I've been doing recently. Okay, so here we are on Ethereum, and basically what I did here is I was, like I said, I was short Ethereum up until a couple days ago, and then I wanted to change my position into a long position. So basically what I've done is, I placed all these bids at all the different marks, and so depending on what the current price is, if the price in this example it's 37.45, I'll put on every increment above that's shown on this 5-minute pane, I'll put a sell order. All the trades are an even amount, so I'm not like weighting anything differently. So I put all the trades above, all the trades below. In this example, now that I have gotten into my long position, I want to basically keep my position somewhere in this range. So instead of just having every single slot above and below it filled with orders, either a sell order or a buy order, I am keeping all my buy orders now under where my current entry is, if that makes sense. And so what this is allowing me to do is, as time goes on, I'm, price is going up and down, I'm making these trades, so I'm getting volume. You can see here, like in the past 5 or 6 hours, I have like 20 trades, so decent amount of volume on, and that's just on this one pair. I have other pairs that I'm trading at the same time. And yeah, basically what it allows me to do is by setting these prices below or above the level that I want to be in, it's letting me build, expand a long position in this example. Or what I had before, I had a short position and I would only put sell orders above, the price that I wanted to have my entry point at. And then below that, if I was already long, I wouldn't be trying to long more as it went down. I would be trying to short until I got my short position into an average buy area where I wanted it to be. And then at that point, it's just kind of easy. You just set these orders, come back every few hours and put more because, price is going up and down all day long. And so, yeah, that's pretty much what's been working for me. I've been averaging about $50,000 in volume today on an average order price of 150 per, each of these. And it's a lot, and I'm making money since I'm picking assets that are in an upward trajectory. So I realize that these are two kind of non-conventional ways to trade, and it's not the way that I would normally do it if I was strictly just looking to trade, but because I'm trying to get a lot of volume to get the airdrops on these perp dexes, while also, trying to make money in the process. This is what I've kind of found to be the best way to do that in this current market environment, which is, basically upward trending. If it was not upward trending, if it was like a sideways market, I'd be doing it differently, like I showed you in my last video on trading about a month or so ago. So hope this was interesting. Hope this was helpful. And yeah, hope you're making money in this upward market. And until next time, happy farming.